The wind screamed across the frozen valley like a beast in pain. Snow fell so fast, it covered tracks in seconds. Everything was white, cold, and deadly silent except for one sound, a cry, a weak, broken sound in the middle of the storm. It came and went, carried by the wind. Most would have thought it was just the wind playing tricks. But Jack wasn't most people, he was human. A lone traveler, stuck on this alien ice world after his small ship broke down. He had built a rough shelter inside a cave near the cliffs, waiting for a rescue signal. Days had passed, food was low, the cold was biting. Still he waited. He didn't expect anything else. Not a voice. Not a child, and yet he heard it. The cry came again, faint, sad. A sound no storm could fully hide. Jack stood at the entrance of his cave. The snow hit his face like knives. He covered his mouth with a thick scarf, pulled on his gloves, and stepped out. His gut told him this was no animal. He followed the sound, pushing through snow up to his knees. Ice cracked under his boots. Visibility was low. He could barely see more than a few steps ahead. But he kept moving. The cry came again. Closer now. Then he saw something, a tiny figure in the snow. A child. She was not human. Her skin was light, purple, almost blue from the cold. Her eyes were large, glowing faintly, filled with tears. She had short horns on her head and wore nothing but a thin piece of cloth around her shoulders. Her feet were bare, her fingers stiff. She was curled up beside a broken hut, half covered in snow. Jack rushed to her. Hey, it's okay," he said, kneeling beside her. She looked up at him, lips trembling. Her voice was a whisper. Mama's gone." Jack didn't ask questions. He could see she was freezing to death. He pulled off his coat and wrapped it around her small body. Then, without wasting another second, he picked her up. She weighed nothing. A feather. Too cold. Too quiet. "Hold on," he said, starting back toward the cave. "I've got you." The snow was heavier now. The wind pushed hard. Jack leaned into it, shielding the child with his body. His fingers hurt, his legs ached. But he didn't stop. Finally, after what felt like forever, he reached the cave. He kicked the snow off his boots and brought the girl inside. The fire inside was small and weak, almost out. He placed the child near it, wrapped her in a blanket, and added more wood. Slowly, warmth returned to the space. The fire crackled. Jack poured hot water into a metal cup and brought it to her lips. "Drink this," the girl sipped. Her hands shook. She looked at him with wide eyes, confused. "Why? Did you help me?" she asked softly. Jack gave her a small smile. "Because no one else did." She looked down. A tear fell down her cold cheek. "What's your name?" Jack asked. "Lena," she said after a moment. "Okay, Lena, I'm Jack. You're safe now." She didn't answer. She just stared at the fire, silent. Jack noticed bruises on her arms, a small cut near her ear, and something else, claw marks across her back. "What happened to you?" Jack asked gently. Lena looked up. Her lips trembled. "The beast came, big, black, with teeth. Mama told me to hide. I did, but when I came out, she was gone." Jack's chest tightened. He looked at her again. This little girl had survived a monster alone, in a storm, with nothing. And now she was here, shivering, scared, alive. He stood up and added more fuel to the fire. He had no idea what kind of beast she meant, but if it could tear apart a village. It wasn't small. The storm outside howled louder. Snow slapped against the cave walls. Lena curled up close to the fire, her eyes heavy. Jack sat beside her, holding a small heater near her side. She slowly leaned against him. Her voice was barely a whisper. "Thank you, Jack." He looked down at her. "Don't worry, Lena. I won't leave you." Outside, the ice storm raged on. But inside the cave, two strangers, one human, one alien child, sat close, clinging to the warmth, the light, and the hope that they were no longer alone. The cave was silent, too silent. Jack sat beside the sleeping alien child, Lena, listening to the storm scream outside like a dying animal. The fire crackled low, but something else pulled at him, a feeling like they were not alone. He had been on many planets before, fought in wars, survived hostile creatures, but this feeling, this cold crawling up his back, it wasn't just the weather. It was something darker. Something watching. Jack stood quietly and checked the small heat lamp again. He adjusted the blankets around Lena. Her breathing was slow, but steady now. Her tiny hand clutched a corner of his jacket like a lifeline. Then, suddenly, scratch. A sharp, low scratch echoed across the cave wall. Like claws on rock. Jack froze. He reached for his tool bag slowly, pulling out a flare stick. It wouldn't hurt much, but fire scared most animals. The sound came again, closer. Jack moved to the entrance, careful not to wake Lena. He listened. Nothing. He stepped outside. Snow swirled all around. Visibility was poor, but something moved. Far away, at the edge of his vision, a tall, dark shape walking slowly along the ridge. He blinked, and it was gone. He went back inside, heart beating faster. Lena stirred. Her eyes opened halfway. Is it the beast? She whispered. Jack crouched down. What do you mean? She sat up slowly, voice trembling. It follows me, since Mama. It comes at night. Scratches, waits. Jack looked at her. Did you see it? What did it look like? Lena drew in the dirt near the fire. A figure with too many arms, a long mouth, sharp teeth. It waits for the weak, she said. It eats the cold ones. Mama said it hides in the storm. Jack swallowed hard. It followed you here? She nodded. The fire snapped loudly, making both of them jump. Jack looked at the entrance again, then sealed it tighter with a thick tarp and rocks. He added more wood to the fire and kept the flare close. Hours passed. The storm kept howling. Lena finally slept again, but Jack stayed awake. Then another sound. Not scratching. A low, slow breathing, coming from outside. Jack stood. His legs were stiff. He moved toward the cave entrance quietly. Silence. Then, a loud thump on the tarp. Jack's heart raced. The tarp moved. Just slightly. Like something heavy had leaned on it. He gripped the flare tighter, ready to strike. But then the breathing stopped. No sound. No movement. Nothing. He waited. 5 minutes. 10. Still silence. Slowly, carefully. Jack opened a tiny flap in the tarp. Nothing there. Just snow blowing past. But then, in the fresh snow, he saw it. Footprints. Huge. Deep. With 3 long toes. And they were heading toward the cave. But none going back. Jack backed away slowly and looked at Lena. She was still asleep. He whispered to himself, "It knows we're here." At dawn, the wind went silent. Not calm silent, the kind of silence that made the air feel thick. Wrong. Like the world was holding its breath. Jack stood at the cave entrance, eyes locked on the footprints outside. They circled the cave. Wide, heavy prints, whatever made them, was still out there. Lena sat near the fire, wrapped tight in blankets. She looked at him with fear in her big glowing eyes. "It's waiting." Jack nodded slowly. "I know." He didn't say it, but the truth was clear. If they stayed in this cave, they would be trapped. And the creature knew it. He packed what little food and heat packs they had. The signal beacon on his wrist still blinked red. No help coming. Lena clutched a small metal ball in her hands. "Mama gave me this," she said softly. "It lights up when we're near the safe place." Jack looked at her. "Safe place?" She nodded. "There's a bunker in the deep snow, south. Mama said others might be there." Jack's eyes narrowed. "Can you find it?" Lena pointed to the glowing line on the ball. It pulsed faintly in one direction. That was enough. Drac grabbed his jacket and wrapped Lena to his chest with extra cloth. "Hold on tight," he whispered. "We move now." Outside, snow still fell, but the wind was calmer. Cold burned his skin the moment they stepped out. Jack pushed forward, boots crunching in the snow. But after just 10 minutes, they heard it. A low growl. Far behind them, Jack turned. A shadow moved through the fog, massive, slow, crawling like a spider with long arms. "Don't look at it," Lena whispered, hiding her face. Jack moved faster, heart pounding. The terrain was rough. Ice cracked beneath his boots. Branches whipped past him. But he kept going. The glowing ball in Lena's hand grew brighter. That's when they saw it. A small alien shuttle crashed into a snowbank, half covered in ice. Jack forced the door open and pulled Lena inside. They collapsed onto the cold floor, both gasping. Inside the shuttle, broken lights, old supplies, and blood. Lena stared at the wall. Her voice shook. "It got someone here." Jack searched fast. Found a heat lamp, a small food pack, and a flare gun with only one shot. He picked it up. Outside, the snow howled again. A scratching sound echoed on the shuttle's roof. Lena whispered, "It's here." Jack whispered back, "Then we'll make our stand." Blood froze slower than water. That's what Jack thought as he stared at the red smear across the shuttle wall. Whoever had been here before didn't leave alive. Lena was silent now. Her small hands gripped the glowing ball tighter, the light pulsing faster with each second. Jack checked the flare gun again. One shot. One chance. He looked at the shuttles. Broken window. Snow pressed against the glass. Outside, something large circled the ship. He could feel it, like thunder in his bones. But then Lena moved. She slipped off the crate she was sitting on and knelt down near the doorway. With her finger she began to draw shapes into the snow. Not pictures, a map. Jack crouched beside her. "What's this?" he asked. Lena didn't look up. "Mama made me memorize the path. I wasn't supposed to forget, even if I ran alone." She drew 3 mountains, then a curved line between them. "At the end a square. The bunker," she said. "Others are there, maybe." Jack stared at the crude map. "How far?" Lena looked at the glowing ball again. "Maybe one more hill. But the beast stays close to the bunker. It likes warmth too." Jack nodded. That made sense. It was hunting the survivors too, waiting for someone to come out. They had to move before the storm picked up again. But just as he opened the door, snap! A heavy footstep landed just outside. Jack froze. Then a single claw dragged slowly across the window glass. Scr. Eek. He pulled Lena back quickly. "We're leaving through the back." He forced open a rear panel, clearing snow silently. The path behind the shuttle led to a sharp slope, dangerous, but fast. He slid down first, holding Lena tightly in his arms. The snow flew past as they descended, tumbling slightly, rolling to the bottom. Jack groaned. "You okay?" Lena nodded, though her eyes were wide with fear. Then, from the top of the slope, a long scream echoed, guttural, angry. The beast had seen them. Jack grabbed Lena's hand and started running again. Go, go! The glowing ball was flashing. Now the bunker was close, but they weren't fast enough. Behind them, trees cracked, snow exploded. Something was crashing through the woods, coming for them. And then finally they saw it, half buried in the ice. A metal door. Lena cried out, "That's it, the bunker." Jack reached it, slammed his hand against the frozen panel. No power. "No lights," he screamed. "Open. Please, someone's out here." But the door didn't move. Behind them, the creatures. Shadow rose through the snow fog, huge, crawling, closer. Jack turned, raised the flare gun. Lena grabbed his jacket tightly. "I won't let it take you," Jack said. Voice steady, then he pulled the trigger. Boom. A bright fireball shot into the air, lighting up the snowfield like day. The creature stopped. Blinded. And then the bunker door hissed. It was opening. Asterisk. The metal door refused to open. Jack slammed his hand against it again and again. Come on, let us in. No answer. Just cold steel. Behind him, the tunnel shook. The sound of claws echoed, scraping, dragging, closer every second. Lena clung to Jack's coat. Her eyes were wide, full of fear. But not just fear of the creature. Fear of being forgotten. Jack stared at the sealed door, then dropped to his knees beside her. I won't let it take you, he whispered. No one ever came before, Lena said quietly. They saw me and walked away. Jack looked at her. I didn't. Lena's lips trembled. You're different. He smiled, though his hands were shaking. I'm just a man who couldn't ignore a crying child in the snow. A small light blinked beside the door. Jack saw a scanner half frozen. He took off his glove and placed his hand on it. The light stayed red. He turned to Lena. Do you remember anything? Any code? Voice key? She shook her head, but then paused. Mama's voice. She used to sing to the door. Jack blinked. Sing? Lena stepped forward. Her voice was weak but steady. She began to hum a soft melody. Strange, alien, but full of warmth. The scanner light flickered. Then, it turned green. His SSS. The door slowly opened. Warm air rushed out. Light filled the tunnel. But before they could step in, a roar shattered the air. The beast lunged into the tunnel behind them. Its black form too big, too fast. Jack turned, threw his body over Lena, and aimed the flare gun. Boom. Flame and fire filled the tunnel. The beast screamed, pulling back, burned but not dead. The metal door opened just enough for one last chance. Jack grabbed Lena and rushed inside. The door slammed shut behind them. Silence. They collapsed to the floor, breathing hard. Warm lights buzzed above them. Jack looked around. They were inside. A real bunker, but it was empty. No voices, no people. Just quiet halls and old machines. Lena looked up at him. You kept your promise. Jack nodded, touching her head gently. I told you I don't leave people behind. Then, for the first time since the storm began, Lena smiled. Warmth didn't feel real. Jack sat on the cold bunker floor, his hand still shaking from the flare gun. Lena was safe, curled beside him, her head resting on his chest. But his mind wasn't resting. It was counting time. Time until the creature found another way in. Time until his body gave out. Time until the past caught him. Because Jack knew something Lena didn't. He wasn't just a traveler. He was running from memories, from guilt, from a war he never wanted to fight. Now in the silence of this bunker, all those memories returned. He had lost a daughter once, and this little alien girl looked at him the same way. Like he was her only hope. He couldn't fail again. Suddenly, a loud metal groan echoed through the hall. Jack stood, alert. Lena, stay here. He moved through the dim corridor. Broken lights flickered above. The place was half dead powered. Just enough to stay warm, but no signs of life. Until he found the control room. A cracked screen blinked with old messages. Bunker locked. Nitrogen monoxide signal to main base. Life support, 48 hours. Jack sighed. We're alone. But then a sharp bang at the outer wall. Boom. He rushed back to Lena. She was already up, clutching the glowing ball again. It's here, she whispered. It doesn't stop. Jack gritted his teeth. Then we fight. He checked the bunker. Found tools, pipes, an old energy battery. He built a trap near the entrance. Hatch. If the beast broke through, he would set the whole corridor on fire. Lena, he said, kneeling before her. If something happens to me, run. Go down that tunnel. There's an escape pod. You can launch it. She shook her head violently. No, I'm not leaving you. Jack placed his hand over her tiny shoulder. I couldn't save my daughter, but I can save you. Please, let me do that. Tears filled Lena's eyes. I don't want another promise. I want you to stay. But before he could answer, boom, the main hatch dented inward. The creature had arrived. Jack turned to face it. Steel in his eyes. The hatch exploded inward. Metal flew. Smoke filled the hallway. The beast stepped into the bunker, huge, black, dripping with snow and hunger. Its breath steamed in the warm air. It had found them. And this time, it wouldn't stop. Jack stood in front of Lena, holding a pipe with an energy battery wired to it, a makeshift weapon. A last hope. Run, Lena, he said without looking back. No, she whispered. Not without you. The creature roared and charged. Jack braced himself, then swung. Crack! The energy pipe struck the beast's side. It screamed, fire flaring from the trap Jack had built. Flames burst across the hallway, forcing the monster back. But it didn't die. It lunged again, ripping through metal, crushing walls. Jack was thrown against a wall, blood running down his arm. He tried to stand. His leg was broken. Lena screamed, Jack! The creature turned to her, smelling her fear. Its claws reached out. Jack, barely conscious, dragged himself forward. He reached into his pocket and pulled out one last flare cell, the core, from the emergency heater. He slammed it into the beast's chest. Boom. The fire swallowed the hallway. When the smoke cleared, the creature was gone. Jack didn't move. He was buried under part of the wall. Unmoving. Lena crawled to him, tears falling. Please. Please wake up. Nothing. She pressed her forehead to his chest. Then a breath. Faint. But real. His hand moved weakly. Told you. I don't break promises. Lena cried harder, laughing through her tears. Hours later, the bunker doors opened again, but not from outside. A rescue team had finally tracked the flare he launched earlier. Human ships had landed. One soldier lifted Lena in his arms. Is that your father? She looked at Jack, weak but smiling, and nodded. Yes, she said. He's my human. Epilogue. Weeks passed. Lena now lived safely on a human colony. Jack recovered slowly, his limp a reminder of the battle. But every night, Lena brought him tea. And every night, she sat beside him and drew in the sand. A new map. Not of snow. But of a home. Together.